So here we are, Andrijana, in Café Hollandia in Malmö. And you've got a new album coming out, Chasing Dreams. Tell us about your new album.
Chasing Dreams, Sara, is actually my dream. And that was I was chasing for maybe 20 years of my life. And now it's finally here. I didn't thought too much about the title of the album because I thought that Chasing Dream is the suitable title for everything that I was chasing for all my life and I was fighting for. The album is actually, as I say, modern classic music, or the classic music is in 21st century, and the style it's called classic crossover music. So the Chasing Dreams is a classic crossover album that is having 8 very popular piano compositions from Chopin, Beethoven, Rachmaninoff and Bach, those 4 composers.
And describe that genre a bit more, classical crossover.
A classical crossover, actually, it's not a new music style, but it's unknown for the public actually who doesn't listen or is not used to listen for classical music. I mean that the classic crossover is a style that is very famous between the classical musicians. That is actually classical pieces that you're playing or presenting to the public on your own way, how you're listening in your ears, how you feel them. So you're presenting the same piece, but in a different way. Mm-hmm. Now it sounds different, it sounds modern.
Mm. You mix up classical composers with pop, rock.
Yes, that depends. That depends. Actually, maybe now it's the techno, the electro sound. Maybe it's a trap or rap. So that depends of the rhythm that or the form of that classical piece. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's not that easy. I'm going to pick now this piece and I'm going to make. It's not possible for every piece to do. In a modern form.
Mm. And describe the creative process when you create an album like this.
Well, the process is actually longer than the final product. The process it's very long because at the beginning you have to find the piece that you are going to work with. So I'm doing that by myself. I'm analyzing the pieces. I mean, with this kind of music are working the musicians who already are very good in their instrument, who know what's happening inside the piece, the harmony, the rhythm, the everything. And then at the end, they're playing with that on their own way. I found the pieces that I thought they're going to wake big interest to the public, but at the same time there's nothing new. So all those pieces are very popular, even to those people who are not used to listen to the classical music. So I made the list. Maybe I can say now it's Beethoven the Fifth Symphony, for example. So everybody knows about that piece. It's from Bach Toccata, so in D-moll, or D minor. So
these are familiar compositions.
Yes, yeah, they're very familiar. And then when I decide which of those compositions are going to be, and I'm going to work with them, then I analyze their form because lots of them are very big or too long. So the public who never listened to the classical music is not used to listen so long. And all songs actually are not more than 3 or 4 minutes, not more than 5. And I wanted to make the music that the people can listen on the radio when they're driving a car, or maybe home making food, or different occasions. And then it's coming the hardest part. It's coming the work with the producer. That was the longest period in this process for me, because it's very hard to find somebody that can go inside in your head and listen and know what you want to do with that piece. In this album, I was working with 4 different producers. The 2 of them are very famous producers from my home country, from Macedonia, and the 2 of them are also very popular producers here in Sweden. They're doing pop, house music, Eurovision songs and everything. So that is the long process. And now when you find those people, you're in the studio, and maybe that is the fastest part when they're doing that, but the longest part is me preparing the piano part, and then the audio recording with a nice piano, and it's very big work behind one product. Creative process together with the producer is something that I want the best. When I go into the studio and they say to me, "Okay, Andrijana, now listen what I have done, so what do you think? Do you like or not?" And that is the part when I'm just enjoy the most, the final product.
So you've been playing classical music for a very long time, since a very young age. When did you start experimenting with different styles?
Actually, Sara, I didn't have time to experiment with the different styles. I didn't have time because the classical music takes a lot of your time for practicing, so it's not possible. So every time when I want to play, okay, now I'm going to play with this song, I'm going to make a cover for some popular song. The time that I was spending, for me, it seems like a wasting of time. Because, okay, I said to myself, now you have a Beethoven sonata, so you have to work. You don't have 45 minutes to lose on something else. So I didn't experiment, but I know what I want to do with the classical music. It just takes time until you be perfect in that what you do, to be professional. I mean, perfect never, but to be professional in that. So after that, it's easier for you to improvise. To answer on your question, when I did that, exactly maybe 3 years ago, when the first single from the album came out, and that was Chopin, and the journey started then.
What is it about classical music that grabs you?
Well, everybody is asking me the same question, and when I start to analyze myself, why is that so? I think it's as we talked before, I think it's the energy that the classical music gives you. It's hold me occupied, hold my body mentally and physically. You have to work on your concentration, so your brain is working very fast all the time. Your fingers are working, and you have to think of thousands of small details that you have to do. Is that the great tone? Is that the piano forte? Is that are you doing the good pedalizing with your pedal? How are the audience listening to you? Is that perfect or not? And that impressed me most at the classical music is that every time that it doesn't matter how many times you play the same piece. You don't have to play the same piece. You can play only one page, or half of page, but you always play different. And always your emotions are involved. So the whole body and that energy the only music style that gives me that energy is the classical music. So I cannot imagine myself to play something else. Maybe I can play, of course, but it's not going to be that satisfying as as the classical music do to me.
And do you have any modern artists who influence you when it comes to creating?
Actually, I have to say, I don't have idols, I never had, but when the idea of the classical crossover music started a long time ago, when I went to the music high school, and then I remember on the TV there was a presentation of a young pianist that is going to play some new modern classic music. I didn't went to that concert, but I liked her. I liked her music that I listened on the TV. I liked the new energy that she presented. I don't remember even her name. In that point, I said, okay, now I want to do that. I don't know what it is. But today, of course, there are lots of famous artists in this style. Two of them actually are coming from Balkan. They're two cellos also that made a very good career. Also here, Andrea Bocelli, who is a remarkable singer. The first one, I think, the pioneer in this style was Vanessa May, who was playing on the violin. I mean, there are lots of classic crossover artists. It's not that unknown style, but also not very popular that we want it to be.
Are there any Swedish musicians who have this style?
Actually, no. I've done the research when the piano. It's about if we talk about the piano classic crossovers, I didn't find nobody from Sweden. Maybe not even from Scandinavia. Maybe there is somebody, but not that I know in the piano.
So you're a pioneer here in Scandinavia?
Well, I hope so. I want to be pioneer in something. I want to do new things. I want to present new things. People want new things. It takes time. It always takes time because today the life is very hard, it's very stressful, and people don't want to go out from their comfort zone. They're stuck with that it's nice to them. And it's the same about the music. So the people don't have time to experiment and okay, now I'm going to start to listen classic crossover. But you have to give them opportunity to listen. And that's why I'm doing now this.
And what do you have to achieve with this album?
Well, with one album you cannot achieve too much. But of course it's a very good begin for something bigger that you want. There are lots of other compositions that I wanted to make that are still in my head. I also write my own music that is maybe more near related to the film music. And I also have a plan to make Christmas albums. So what I want to achieve, I just want to do my music, and I just want to find a public for that, and I just want to do my concerts like I'm imagining them. And that's it. Maybe that's not too much, but
perhaps introduce classical music to new target audience.
Yes, classical music for those who already listen is not going to be anything new. But for the younger generation, that maybe are more internet now and technology influence to them. Maybe they don't have, or maybe the parents don't have time to present too much of Schubert or Chopin. But when I'm presenting to my students, to my pupils, so they love it. So that means that the public it's here, but you just have to present. Maybe when you said it's 200 years old music, so the younger people say, okay, no, it's very old. But when you're going to present with a new sound, okay, now we can listen. Now I know that. What was that? And they're asking me, Andrijana, what was that? It was the Beethoven, and what is the Bach? And now they know. So I think that is a very good thing.
And who is your favorite composer?
My favorite composer to play is Beethoven. He was crazy, he was temperament, he was at the same time very passionately, but his pieces are very symmetrically structured. And when I play Beethoven, it's like you said, physically running a marathon. But the real favorite composer is Rachmaninoff. That I don't think that I have time in this life, maybe in another life, to play it more or to analyze more, because the Rachmaninoff is everything what Beethoven is, but much more with emotions and the brain, and that is the hardest. So I would say Rachmaninoff.
And you're also releasing a series of music videos with this album.
Yes. I released last week the second video from the second composition of my album. It's, like we said, the Beethoven, the Fate Symphony. Every month is going to come out the new video. So I have filmed totally 5 now, and the sixth one is in progress. It's from the Rachmaninoff composition, the last one that me and my producer think that is the masterpiece in the album, and that's why we wanted to be also the video has to be also the masterpiece. The whole composition, it's when he was doing in studio, he just called me and said, okay, now you played the Rachmaninoff like you wanted. Now I'm going to make a Rachmaninoff that can present all of your sides, that can present you as a pianist that is coming from Macedonia, that present your life in Sweden, that present your family and your husband that is from Serbia, and all that mix is going to be in that video, in that sound. So now we're doing the preparations for the last the sixth video, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, are you recording them in Sweden or
no,
in Macedonia?
No. It's going to be in Macedonia. Because of it's easier for me with 3 videos are filmed in no, not 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are in Sweden, 1 is in Slovenia, and 1 is going to be in Macedonia, because of the nature, because of the that what I want to in the video. So I think that Macedonia is the most suitable place for that music, for that video.
Look forward to it.
Me too.